Let's paint this pretty door and the brick wall. I will use pen, ink and watercolor to paint this picture. I am going to use watercolor paper to paint this. This paper has a little tooth to it and is excellent for bringing out the texture in a surface when painting. At the same time, this paper is not too rough, so it is suitable for drawing with pen as well. As you can see here, I have made a rough pencil drawing before beginning the inking process. I will erase the pencil lines once my inking is finalized. I am using a dip pen to draw the lines. This pen has a detachable nib and it does not have an ink reservoir. I need to dip the nib in the ink every time I want to draw. This process may look super tedious at the beginning, but the advantage of this pen is the lines one can draw with that hand-drawn organic feel. If you prefer a normal pen to this approach, you may go ahead and use a ballpoint pen, a gel pen, technical pens, or a fountain pen to do your line work. There is nothing right or wrong about any approach. It's all about what you are comfortable with. If you have gone through any of my previous videos, you know that I do not try to draw perfectly straight lines. Instead, I focus on drawing lines with a hand-drawn organic look. In my opinion, this makes drawing more attractive. But you are free to make a choice for yourself. There is no right or wrong way. You may mark the darkest values using ink at this stage or leave it for later. If you go little bit wrong while drawing overlapping elements, do not worry. We can hide those minor mistakes later while drawing the shadows. The seemingly ugly elements like this trash bin can also add to the beauty of a drawing. This fact will become even more obvious when we paint this trash bin later. If you cannot draw such vertical straight lines, feel free to rotate the paper as needed. Remember, the results matter, not the nitty-gritties of the process. One more seemingly ugly element is this pole with a no parking sign. Even though such elements may seem to clutter the composition, they add a quirky charm to the composition. If you feel it is too much clutter, simply omit this pole from your drawing. Let's draw the bricks now. You may notice that I have drawn a random outline with pencils where I want to limit drawing the bricks. This is my way of adding some asymmetry to the composition. I feel this sense of incompleteness adds to the beauty of the composition. Again, it's totally your choice whether to follow in my footsteps or fill the whole paper. If you are liking this video so far, please press the like button and subscribe to this channel. Also remember to press the bell icon to receive a notification whenever I upload a new video to this channel. Now that we have finished our line work, it's time to add darkest dark values to the drawing. Adding such dark shadows will create a sense of depth for the various elements in the drawing. You will also see me hide the overlapping mistake I committed while drawing the steps and the railing on the right hand side. I am also adding some grey shades to some parts of the drawing. Since the ink does not dry instantaneously, we can paint grey tones by just rubbing wet brush against some ink already present on the paper. Observe how painting a grey shadow on the wall brought the pole with no parking sign forward in the viewer's eyes, creating depth. Some ink lines may smudge a little when applying grey tones like this. It is not a big deal. If you think the smudging is going way out of hand, simply dab the problematic area with a hand tissue to rid the paper of excess water. Painting such dappled shadows over the steps adds dynamism and interest to the composition. Observe how the shadows follow the contour of the steps. These shadows over the brick wall indicate that there are some trees and bushes around, though they are not present in the composition. This is another way of creating a feeling in the viewer that the painting has more than what meets the eye. Now let's begin coloring this artwork. I am going to use watercolor for painting. I am going to carefully spread the paint onto the paper so as not to smudge the ink lines too much. For this reason, I am touching the brush very lightly onto the paper. You can observe here that the paint automatically appears darker where grey tones are applied underneath. In most places, I am just putting paint onto the paper and let it flow around, taking care to make it stay within the lines. I am also using most paints out of the tubes without mixing custom colors. I want the color palette of this painting to be subdued rather than too bright, so the paints are used in a thin manner. However, I want the colorful brick wall to grab the viewer's attention, so I used various warm colors like yellows, reds and oranges to paint this wall. I let the colors mix freely onto the paper. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel now, like right now. I painted over the previously painted grey shadows using brown paint to add some warmth to these shadows. And we have completed our painting. Apply any finishing touches that you may desire after this. Also visit my website to browse my books, original artworks and merchandise. Happy painting!